Welcome back to the Airlie podcast. Today we're joined by Jack Logan. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no dramas, mate. Glad to be here.
So first of all, how did you get started in Rugby League?
So same as everyone really. Just I played football as a kid, and then my granddad was a Rovers supporter, and he used to love rugby, so he used to watch all the rugby and that. My mum was a FC supporter, so it was sort of split in the family.
Yeah.
And then I was just nagging my mum. Wanted to play football. I wanted to play everything, any sort of sport. I wanted to be there. She used to take me down, and I went down to Hull Lake, and I just started playing. I was a bit naturally good at sport when I was a kid, I sort of took to it pretty quickly, and it just took off. I was probably better at that than I was all other sports, and I enjoyed it. I liked the physical side of it, so I was about 10 years old and signed for Hull Lake, but unfortunately we didn't have a team at my age group, so I had to play the age above, and then eventually I think I was under 11, so maybe 2 years I was at Hull Lake, and then I moved to Cut Tigers because they had an age group at my age, and we moved into the Yorkshire League.
Obviously, gone past league. So how, obviously, starting at Cot and everything and Mike, how did you then get picked up by Hull or whoever?
So I was at Cottingham Tigers until under 15s. It feels like it was a lot longer. It was only 4 or 5 years, but it feels when you're a young kid, 4 or 5 years was massive, wasn't it? And it felt like I played most of my rugby at Cot Tigers, but obviously it wasn't. But so I played down there. I was lucky enough to get picked for the England schoolboys. No, is it schoolboys? England youth or something. The kids one. I played that when I was at under 15s and then under 16s again. And we used to have something called service area back then, which was like regional. So it was like Hull. It was like Hull's district, so it was Hull service area, and then you had Wakey, Leeds, and then you went off into your Yorkshire divisions. I think they've stopped a lot of that now. I think they're bringing back that Yorkshire, but the old format's changed. So we just playing basically rugby all year round. If you could play, if you was getting selected for them standards, you just went from club to like your district to then your regional to then your international, and it just progressed from there. And obviously I was quite lucky really that I was always on Hull's radar, and I had the scholarship from a young age, and I just sort of came right up from being, I think maybe under 12s, under 13s or something it was. Went through to the first team.
Obviously, you made your debut in 2014, I think.
That's correct, I think.
Under Radford. So, what was it like making your debut?
Yeah, it was a strange one, really, because there was a couple of lads who made their debut that was my age or in the same team as me, just a few weeks before me. So there was Jordan Abdul, and then there was Callum Lancaster. And we was playing. We had a really good team for that my age group and a couple from the younger age.
Yeah.
We had a really good team, a really strong team. It goes to show that I think, I can't give you an exact number, but 80%, maybe 90% of that squad ended up making a Super League debut. So we had a good team, and I remember them two lads with Abbo and Carl, they got a text off Radders just before the debut, a couple of days before the debut, saying you're in with the first team tomorrow. Come in, don't go to the academy. And then I got this text as well a few weeks after that, so I thought I'm making my debut here. Turns out, for whatever reason, Radders text everybody individually rather than as a group, and the full team was in, so everybody was in. But then he sat us all. So I trained. I was a bit disheartened because I thought I was getting my debut. And we trained pretty well, and then all the academy got sat down in the meeting room, and Radders gave us a bit of a spraying, saying that our attitude around the training ground wasn't right as a team. We was leaving the team a bit messy. We'd walk in the changing room with our boots on and put mud everywhere. If we had strapping on for training, we'd leave it on the floor. It was just a bit of a housekeeping thing. Just a bit immature. I know for a fact it definitely picked up after Radders gave us all a spraying. But during that, out of nowhere, Radders just goes, and if you start holding yourself right and carrying yourself right around training, you'll be making your debut in Super League just like Jack will be doing on Sunday. And I was like, so that's all I found out, and then that was it. I made my debut, and then that was it. I was first team from there, and I stayed there for, is it 7 years, I think it was?
Yeah.
And obviously then came back. So, sorry about that.
It's fine, it's alright. Obviously, 2015 was kind of where you started playing a lot more regularly because of injuries and so on. So, and then obviously 2016 you got the number 4 shirt.
Yep.
How did you find out about that, and obviously what was that like?
So in 2015, on the last game of the year, Tommy Lanham was my winger and I was the centre. I was playing Catalans.
Yeah.
And it was a bit of a nothing game. There was no to go for the game. The season was done.
Yeah.
Rada started me in the centre. I remember Tommy Lanham said to me before the game, he said, if I score 4 tries tomorrow, so I'll be top try scorer.
Yeah.
So I was like, no way, that'll be class, that. So I managed to get 3 assists for him. And then he scored his 4th try, and I thought he was top try scorer. So turns out Joe Baird just scored that night. The night before. So he got beat or something, but he needed to score 5, which obviously he didn't manage to do. And then on the team, so I played pretty well that game, and Radders pulled me in for our reviews like we always do, and he just said, I think you've done enough to start next year. But that's as far as the conversation went.
Right.
When you're a young kid coming through, maybe I should have maybe done this a bit earlier.
Right.
You learn not to ask certain questions.
Yeah,
So he says that, put your head down, crack on, maybe. I definitely didn't do that when I was a kid.
Right.
I was definitely a bit gobby, and I snapped a bit at players and maybe answered back a bit more than I should have done. But yeah, that's sort of how it went, and then I got the 4 shirt. And then maybe a dip in form, dip in confidence, a bit too much pressure. I didn't really start the season as well as I finished. I didn't start badly, but I didn't start as well as I finished. I think it was 4 or 5 or maybe even 6. 6 games, or however many games it was that year. We just went unbeaten, obviously 2016 to start with. And I picked up a niggly injury which dropped me out for 1 game, and then it's a dog-eat-dog world. I wasn't playing that well. I missed through a slight injury, which is one man's. Well, what's the saying? One man's mistake is another man's treasure. So one man's treasure.
No idea, but
treasure. So so obviously somebody else got the nod. I think it might have been Yemo.
Yeah.
And obviously Yemo didn't need any introduction.
Yeah.
He played well, and even in the latter stage of his career, he was still a quality player.
Yeah.
And it was probably youth that had me on my side rather than being a better player.
Yeah.
Well, definitely.
Yeah.
And that was it really. I sort of lost my spot, and then I remember I tore an hamstring in training.
Right.
Recovered from my hamstring tear after maybe 4 to 6 weeks or something, and I played it. Radder says to me, he says, play 30 minutes on, I think it was a Thursday night game, or maybe a Saturday, an academy game anyway, or a reserves game. Play 30 minutes, come off, you're playing next Thursday against Huddersfield, so I just want you to get a bit of fitness in your legs.
Yeah.
So I go, all right, 32 minutes into that game, I make a break. Curtis Norton made the break.
Right, yeah.
And as he passed me the ball, it was a bit of an high ball. I've leant up to catch the ball. As I've leant up, I've leant backwards, and the fullback's coming, so I've gone to step off my left leg, and that was it. I just completely ruptured my ACL. And I had a few complications along that way, so I ended up not playing Super League game again for, I think it was pushing 18 months it was.
Yeah, I think I remember when you came back actually, because it was going to
Leeds
send out.
away, Leeds away. I tried this, I was heartbroken about that. Me and Charlie have got a running joke because I played on the wing that game.
Yeah,
played pretty well as well.
Yeah.
And whoever it was has put a bomb up. They connected well. I think it was spiralling everywhere, and it was really my ball. But it was one of them that splits the winger and centre.
I think I do remember.
And I remember that ball goes up like that, and I look at it, and I've got my arms up. And then I just look at Charlie. Charlie looks at me, and then luckily he got it. He was like, he ain't confident of this, but obviously lack of experience and nervous on my first game back. Headingley's a tough place to go anyway.
It really is. Yeah.
And luckily he pulled me out the shit and he caught it, but he had to. He went flat out to catch it. He had to slide for it and everything. So he did. He definitely pulled me out. But yeah, that's sort of where my injuries sort of started as well. I wasn't even the ending of them. So.
Obviously, that 2016 team goes without saying was probably one of our best teams in Yeah. So, what was it like being a part of that team? Obviously, not starting regularly, injuries there, here and there. But what was it like being a part of the group? And so,
it's the best place in the world when you're winning.
Yeah.
It goes without saying, if you're winning every week, even when there's always things to improve on.
Yeah.
But the things to improve on they're never as important when you're winning, because if you're losing, you need to change something drastically. When you're winning, you can just tweak things to try and stay on top of the game rather than. So it was a good environment to be in, really. The lads were good, the socials were good, the training was good. There was a load of crack. Then we trained hard. There was obviously there's people in the squad that was getting faded out, and people that were coming in. That's towards the back end of the season. It always gets a little bit more hostile. Not the group, but people know you're going. People know that other people are going. It's not nice. It's not a nice place to be. You class everybody there. Well, 90% of the people there are your best mates, your brothers, and it's hard when you know that maybe one of them's going.
Obviously, 2016 season ended. You went out on loan to OKR in 2017. I think. Yeah. Yeah. So obviously, what was that like? Obviously.
So as I say, with them injuries that I had, I ended up having stupid amount of hamstring, quad tears along the way from my ACL. All sort of stemmed from that. I had a couple of games at Donny, and then I've tore, and then I came back in and trained. I was tearing hamstrings, and it was I just couldn't get over it. It was always different ones. It wasn't the same hamstring or the same quad. It was just like that. My right hamstring, then my left quad, and then left arm. It was just kept bouncing around, and I ended up. I played for Donny, and what was happening was a few of the young lads that was playing at Hull was taking Doncaster for granted in a way, and they'd play for Doncaster, take it a bit maybe in that part-time area where they treat it a bit not as serious and maybe get it was just the liberties were taken. You give an inch, people take a mile, and that's what sort of happened. So Radders came in and he said, I don't care if you played yesterday for Donny. I want you to train the next day. He said, because too many of you are taking it for granted. You're not putting your all in there. Then you're expected to have the next day off. So it's not right, and there was all young lads. And I did that in no position to argue. I did that, and I remember the next day, on the Monday, I tore a hamstring, which was obviously a heartbreak. I was joking. Couldn't believe it. I was gutted. And then the day after that, Catalans rang up to sign me on loan, which would have been a experience. So I really wanted to go there, just as an experience in life. Obviously, being classed to go. And I had no real ties here. I had no kids at the time. I might have even been living at home still at the time. I can't remember, but I really wanted to go. But obviously, the Radders let them know the news that I've just been injured and not going to be fit for 4 weeks, and there was only 8 weeks left of the season. I think it was. So they went, we'll go with someone else. And I think they ended up signing Tierney, who obviously ended up playing there for a long time. So it wasn't a bad move for him, really, because it got him a lot of years, and he's a great lad as well. I played with him at Leigh. And then, I rang, same question. That was in Championship at the time. And they said, do you know what? Fuck it, we'll take him. He's only around the corner. He's a local lad. It's not gonna cost us loads of money to travel him, and there's ins and outs. So I ended up going there. Obviously, again, I went injured. I did my rehab at OKR. I got back fit. I missed out on one game where I could have played, and they chose not to play me. And then the week later it was Catalan. Funnily enough, it was Catalans I was playing in the Super 8s. It was. And I was meant to play in the centres, and doing the team run the day before the game, I tore my quad. So I've just come back from an hamstring, and I'm testing my hamstring by doing. It was during the team run, but it was after we was doing 100 metres, building up pace to see how your hamstring. If you start feeling the twinge, you stop. And I was all right, and I was maybe pushing through my hammy a bit. But I pulled through it, and then out of nowhere, my quad just went. And it was just again back to square one. So I never even got the chance to play there.
Obviously, 2018, you said your first game back was against Leeds, which was quite early on in the season, I'm pretty sure. Then obviously 2018 was kind of the bad season for all in the sense of injuries, and
Yeah.
you played a lot. I think obviously towards the back end. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if I'm right there.
I might have done, yeah.
Was it? It was a lot more on the wing as well.
Was it 2018 that I went on loan to Toronto?
2019.
Was that 2019?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Then, maybe then, yeah. I might have played a few games towards the end of that year.
But obviously, centre and wing, which one would you say you prefer? Because obviously...
I think... I don't know, it's a tough one, that, because if you ask me where I want to play fullback. So,
right, well, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so if anybody ever... If I was ever going to go sign for another team, which I'm not, definitely not, but don't anybody think that I think I'm going to, I'm definitely not.
No rumours happening there, right?
If I was ever going to do it, I'd always have my ties as a centre winger fullback.
Right, okay.
I think, I say it in that order because I think primary I'm centre.
Yeah.
I play well on the wing, but I love fullback, I love the free roam and that. But it's definitely a specialist position that I'm not qualified to play at Super League.
Right.
I think depending on what team you're at and what kind of players are around you, I'd rather play centre all the time.
Right.
You get your hands on the ball, you can create a bit more. I think skill-based in Super League, if I'm being totally honest, I think I'm, especially towards the back end of my career, Super League style, I was a winger.
Yeah.
I don't think I had that turn of pace that I used to when I first broke through.
Yeah.
Maybe the agility wasn't as good after my injuries or something. I just felt like on the wing, I was still pretty quick. I was averagely strong. I wasn't particularly weak or strong. I was good under a high ball. I was good at attacking and defensive kicks. So positioning wise, I talk a lot during the game.
Right.
Always talking to a fullback, which helps on the wing. So if you're talking, connecting with your centres, your fullbacks. So I'd probably say if I was at Super League, it'd be more winger, although I'd rather play in the centres.
Obviously, you said you talked to the fullback a lot. Is that why you and Jamie Shaw have such a good relationship, or
funnily enough, we weren't even that close when I played. We was really very good mates, but through the first stage of going through. And I can assure it's definitely changed now.
Right.
But the young kids and the older lads, as you say, there was a little bit of a divide, not a massive divide.
Right.
But when you sit for your dinners, it'd be young lads and big lads. And we'd all talk, but it was separated.
Yeah.
It wasn't like hostile, but it was separated. And surely just sort of broke through to them seniors, and I'm still with it. I'm sort of breaking through to the seniors, but I'm still a young lad, and all my mates who I grew up playing with, are young lads, they aren't playing yet, so I'm sort of still in between, but mainly there. So obviously I used to talk to Shirley, but then at the time Shirley's missus and my missus, they got on a little bit as well, so we went out for a few beers, and then that was it. It was like a relationship. We speak every day and talking. That's how it was. Who just rang me a minute ago.
Was it?
Yeah.
Should have gone on.
Yeah. So we really got close mainly after I left. I mean, he helped me a little bit really because obviously it's a tough decision to leave rugby. To leave when I left, I found it very tough.
Right.
One thing that is definitely getting better, but still not 100% there, is nobody checks up and nobody texts and say, "You alright, lad?" And it was hard when I left. So I was just upsetting with my boyhood team when I played there. And I obviously cried in the change room after, and he was the first one there, give me a hug. And we just sort of been there for each other since. So that's probably where it came from, really.
Yeah. Obviously, he's been on the podcast. Great person to talk to. He's a great person to talk to. I think Charlie. I think. I think. Really got a testimonial, to be fair. I don't think he deserved it. But moving on to 2019, obviously that derby win, scoring a hat-trick. I mean... third try I want to talk about when you did great... I'm going to cut that out. Third try when you did Craig Hall for the for pace. Well, I mean, obviously... What was your thought process? Was you going to pass it at all, or did you just...
my whole thought process behind that was... I was giving it. I'm watching. I take a look at Albie. So I just pin my ears back and I go. Speed don't come naturally. I do have to work hard for a little bit of speed. It's not something I could just naturally just fly. So I remember just pinning my ears back, going and thinking, if as long as I can get away from this centre or the back row, whoever was wrapping round, I thought I'm all right here. Now I took a look and I seen I'll be there. And then I look up, and this is where every coach does it, but this is where I learned it through Rads. Is you look up on your individuals.
Yeah.
And obviously it's known that Craig Hall's more of a finesse player than dig deep, pin your ears back and run straight into someone player. I remember I looked up and he slowed, and I thought he's going to go for an interception here. So as soon as he slowed, because I was already at full tilt, I would have give it. Because he slowed, I just knew that he wasn't going to get an hand on me. I thought if I go, he might, absolute waste, he might get a finger touch on me. And I think that's as far as it did. Right. It was a nervous thing to do, really. I thought I messed it up, and he was going to get me because he's pretty quick. But obviously, as soon as I got round him, that was pure emotion after that.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, when you're running like quick, I suppose you can't really think. You kind of like just like got to go for it. You know what I mean? You're going to make a decision really quickly.
That. Yeah, you can't really think.
Yeah, obviously scored another 2 tries. I mean, what's it like scoring a hat trick in a whole derby? Obviously.
Yeah, it was mad. It's things that you dream of, innit? When you're a young kid growing through. It is one of the things that you always want to do, score an hat-trick, you want to play on Sky, you want to play in a derby, you want to play at KC, you want to do all these things. Luckily, I got it all in one day there.
Yeah.
And, it was good. I liked it because it was 3 completely different tries.
Yeah,
it was my only hat-trick. I scored a handful of braces in my time as well. But it was my only hat-trick, and it was just 3 completely different tries, sort of showcased a little bit. Obviously, one was a walkover. Obviously, the catch above my head and out jumping the opposite winger, and then obviously showing a bit of pace to get round the fullback at the end. Yeah, it was really good because obviously it was somewhat you always dreamt of doing. So I was buzzing.
Obviously, I don't know if this is in the correct order, but you went to Toronto in 2019 as well. What was that experience like? Did you play in Toronto?
Yeah, if I'm being totally honest, I loved it. I didn't want to come back. There's politics in rugby. And there's small prints, and there's bits where things get said and then they don't get followed up, and it always works like this. So basically at the time Hakeem was preferred over me.
Right,
at all.
Right,
which was, in my opinion, I mean he was a good player, he was a great lad.
Yeah.
But in my opinion it was what the fans thought of him that was getting him picked.
Right.
At that time. Yeah. And when Matty Dort, so Toronto came in for me, and they came in for like 3 or 4 times in the pre-season. I kept saying no. And then Matty Dawson-Jones got injured in the first game, which was OKR. And then he trained and he actually tore his ACL, bless him. Yeah. Which put him out for the rest of the year. Yeah. And I was lined up and the picture came to play on the wing over me, and my head went a bit. I was just like, so I just walked straight to the office. I just said I want to go to Toronto. If they want me, I'll go. So it all got sent through and I ended up going. And it was said to me that I don't have to come back if I don't want to come back. If Toronto want to keep me and I want to stay, then I could stay for as long as that was. And that's under the impression that I was. Well, that's what was told to me anyway. So it's there in black. It wasn't there in black and white, but that's what was said. Yeah, they chose Hakeem to play over me. They chose Hakeem as the reserve. They had Ratu Nalago, obviously at the time hadn't played, very raw, and nobody really knew what he was going to be like. Obviously, in hindsight, they should have just played him from the start. Scored a lot more tries than me or Hakeem put together. Yeah, but I was at Toronto and they was keen to keep me and I was keen to stay, and then Rads rings me and says, "You're back with us on Monday?" And I said, "I'm not." I said, "I've just signed an extension after 4 weeks." I said, "I've just signed another extension to stay." I said, "I want to stay." I said, "I've spoke to them and they want me to stay." He went, "You don't really get a choice, mate." He said, "I don't know what you've been told, but look, you're coming back with us." I said, "I know you want to stay. I know this might be an opportunity for you, but," he said, "at the end of the day, you're our player and we need you." Yeah. I think what happened was, for whatever reason, the club had fallen out with Hakeem. That's where the deal came. So I went to Toronto and I got pulled back to Hull. And admittedly, I played. So I got I was straight in. Yeah, there was no ins and outs. It wasn't anything personal against the club, and the club wasn't being personal against me. Radas didn't think that anything bad of what I was saying. Yeah. He understood what was said to me, and he understood that I'd want to stay. So all that was handled in the right way.
Yeah.
To a degree. Maybe a bit of the backroom staff wasn't handled in the right way, which, again, we all know who they are, so there'll be plenty of them popping out.
Right. Obviously, 2019 you left Hull, went to Batley, I'm pretty sure it is, I think.
Doncaster,
right,
yeah. COVID hit.
Yeah, and obviously didn't play a lot.
I think, I don't know if we played, I played 2 or 3 games, but it was either friendlies or
it was
first season, and then it was canned, wasn't it?
Yeah, COVID hit March, so I'd imagine, friendlies. And then obviously 2021 signed for Batley, played a few times for Batley, and then all of a sudden all coming back and back playing for Hull.
I stayed in contact with Hull, just as friends. It was never. I was never asking to go back. They was never asking me to come back. It was just staying in contact with, obviously, people that I came through the ranks with, and then basically I went back. Batley loaned me to Hull for salary cap reasons. I think it was. They couldn't afford to give me any salary, but I was told that after the 4-week loan, if they want to keep me, they'd have to pay me, because I basically was going back there for free. I was getting paid very little by Batley because I chose to have a Super League clause in my contract, which automatically they're never going to pay you a massive deal, because a Super League can just take you at any point, and they don't really have a say if you've got that clause in. So I was getting paid very little. So basically I went back to Hull, and Hull give me no extras. So obviously when I was at Batley, I was working in the full-time job that I'm doing now. And getting my wage through Batley, and Hull basically just covering the wage through Batley. I was getting no extras. So I basically went back for free, and all I was asking for was enough money, after that 4 weeks, was enough money to cover my bills. I said no extras, not my shopping, just my household bills, my mortgage, my gas, my electric. And then after that, I'd use my own savings for the opportunity. So I'd pay for everything myself. I was told that was the go again. There's politics everywhere. But again, come to it happening after the 4 weeks, they didn't have no money. And we all know there's ways and there's means, and the problem, if they was telling the truth about the salary cap, then I get it, but I wouldn't know. Either way, I felt like it was wrong to even allow it. There was a few lies told to me between the coach saying one thing and backroom saying another thing. And then when I spoke to the coach and said, backroom said this, he's going to, I ain't said that. And then I said, well, he's saying that. And it just got a bit bad. So again, the opportunity was too big and I was already there. So I signed the extension. And then literally, I think it might have even been the same day, I asked for the release out of that extension, and I wanted to go to Lee. Leah came in and offered me a deal and give me what I wanted, which was literally enough to survive. They paid my travels. Lee looked after me, really. I know a lot of bad things come out of Lee, but
I mean, to be fair, they've got a good owner. So I mean,
well, if you treat the club right, the club treats you right. But on the other time, it's it's feast or famine with them. They'll look after you really well, or maybe they won't. But if you don't treat them really well, then what do you expect? It's a weird. There's a lot of bad press about Lee, but I always got along with them. I didn't really meet Derek much, but I liked him when I did. Again, everywhere you go in rugby league, there's arrogance and there's certain people, and there's certain people that think certain ways that ain't right and ain't morally right. And that's literally the only reason I've retired, because I just think I don't want to deal with that anymore. Not for the money that you was getting paid. I just didn't see it as a longevity thing. Obviously, it's not anyway. But that's sort of where it all came to an end. And I went to Lee, and again, in the end, I ended up having a bit of a fallout with one of the coaches there because of something that got said. My little one was in hospital on a breathing machine because he couldn't breathe for himself. I think he was maybe 8 months at the time. He was in for over 2 weeks, where my missus, she couldn't handle seeing him like that. So I was doing the nights and she was doing the days. So I'm trying to sleep on a chair or on a little bed on the nights, and then get up at 5 in the morning to travel to Lee. And I dislocated my shoulder, and I asked for the day off, and the coach said, and then when it got to it, he didn't give me it off, so I thought I was playing. And then he told me I wasn't playing, and then obviously emotions just hit me. I was really angry. I was very upset in a way. It was just a tough time, and that's why I just thought, it's just not. No, I had a couple more offers coming from other teams as well, and I just thought I definitely don't want to do that. I want to just go back to my normal job, my normal life. And if I wasn't moving else, I'd have retired there and then. But I needed a bit. Because as I say, when I went to Hull, I went back for free, essentially. I went back for next to nothing, pennies. And when I say pennies, I wasn't even earning £1,000 a month, nowhere near that. Trying to run a house and a kid, obviously, a Poland kid, and cars and obviously I miss it. Yeah, it was hard. Missions was on maternity. I was moving house during this time, so I needed guaranteed. I'm a bricklayer by trade.
Right.
So my wages could vary maybe 50% each week.
Right.
So you could double it one week and then half the next week, which it doesn't work out like that, but that's the way that the banks see it, because obviously we can't lay bricks in the rain and stuff. So the banks needed some guaranteed money, which is the reason I signed for York. And I don't mean that by any disrespect. I really did hope it could have worked out with York, but maybe, again, didn't see eye to eye with... Well, I wasn't favoured at York, maybe.
Right.
And again, there's always arrogance at every club, and I was just getting fed up with it. I just wanted to enjoy it and play, have fun and go home. And I just didn't think the money was worth that anymore, so that's why the retirement came into it.
Yeah, obviously, going into the game, again, you played for Hull, obviously, coming back in 2021. Charlie told us that he presented your shirt. What, obviously, being best mates with him, what was obviously the feeling being back as well? I mean, and fans were back as well. Obviously, what was that like?
That was emotional, because the one thing that I always regretted is when I decided to leave full-time rugby to start with, and then South of Doncaster, obviously it was just me and the missus at the time, but then obviously I had a little lad, and I was thinking, how mint would it have been to get a photo with him and a bit of a memory, and it'd have been really good. And I never got the opportunity, obviously. I could have done on with the part-time, but I wanted it at all. Just to add to the portfolio, to show him when I'm older, and obviously to be proud of. And obviously that, he was there then. So I was a bit emotional already, thinking that I'm going to get to play, I'm going to get the photo, it's going to be nice, this. And I wasn't meant to play, and then I got...
Yeah, because it was like real late on, you was chose to play, I think.
I was told I was meant to be... I think I was told I wasn't playing at all. Then Team Runo said, you're going to be 18th man.
Yeah.
Then when I got there, he went, you're on the bench. And then after we warmed up, he went, you're starting. So I was like, right, where's this come from? So I managed to get the game there. And Charlie obviously presented me my shirt, a little speech and that. And he knows how hard it was leaving all the first time. And he knew that I'd have maybe a bit of mental trouble in between where obviously, as I say, with a poorly baby, and it was hard, and the missus struggled with stuff like that, and it was a tough time for me, obviously trying to find a new career, trying to re-find yourself. It was definitely hard. And he was there through it all, so it was nice for him to actually be able to give me a cuddle before the game and maybe shed a tear and that, presenting me my shirt. It was special.
Obviously you scored as well. I mean, that must have been great, obviously, knowing your kid was there and obviously all that. I mean,
it was definitely was. Obviously, I'm not on the fans forums. I definitely removed myself from that.
I can't blame me, to be honest, but
some of it's hard when obviously they're talking about your mates, they're talking about you, they're talking about your mates. It's hard. It's wrong. It's wrong. I think in certain situations, I don't think a season pass gives you the right, personally. I really don't. I think don't buy your season pass next year. Because I'll still get paid. When I was there, someone would say, well, I can't say that, I've got a season pass, I pay your wages. I was like, don't buy it then. Don't buy one, because I better still get paid. So, it was hard with the fans, but obviously when I scored, it was a bit emotional, because although I didn't see any of the negative comments, I thought there will have been some out there, and it was sort of I know there was a lot of nice ones. There was a lot that directly came to me, that tagged me or messaged me privately that was really happy to see me back. And obviously when I did get managed to, again, it was a kick as well. And I only scored 2 of them, but I loved them. It was something that I loved. And when I got it, because I actually missed a sitter as well. And when I got it, I was over the moon. I just thought, it's one of them, it's sort of like prove people wrong. And not many people get 2 chances at Super League, so I was lucky, really.
Obviously, I think we've already spoke about that. So obviously you said you're a bricklayer by trade. What's life been like after rugby? I mean...
Oh, so chilled. So chilled. I've basically had a year off where I had trained, and I've just gone and joined the gym this week. So I'm gonna get myself back into it, get training again. I'm not looking at doing a comeback again, just to clarify. Yeah, well, I'm playing in Charlie's testimonial, so I'm actually going to play in that, which is, I only found out last night that he only asked me last night. So I'm going to play in that, but I think I'd happily do stuff like that for people, but I don't think I'll play competitive anymore. Yeah. But I'm just happy where I am. It's like, if I want to, I've got my little lad at home, I've got another one on the way. Another little boy, thank you. Another little boy as well. So 2 little boys running around. It'll just be nice to. It is nice to just get home and see them. Not sometimes when you're playing part time, when you're playing full time, you're not earning the money that I am now. It ain't a great paying thing unless you are really good. And again, I know there might be negative comments in this from me, but if I was good enough, I'd still be there. That's what I always say. So as much as, you don't like this guy or you fall out with this club, if you're good enough, I'd still be there. And you won't fall out with them because you'd be on more money, so you'd be a little bit happier. They're paying you more money, so they'd maybe look after you a little bit better. So again, if I was good enough, I'd still be there. That's what I always say. I was lucky to get 2 chances. But yeah, I'm just happy that if I want to go for a beer after work, I can.
Yeah, you don't have to.
If I want to get up at 10 o'clock on the weekend, if the missus is taking Lake out, my little lad, so taking him out, I can. It's just good to not be watching over your shoulder or something. Thinking, oh well, this guy sees me, I'm getting in trouble, or I shouldn't be doing this, or I can't do this because I've got training, or I've got a game next week, so I best eat well. If I want to have 6 takeaways in a row, I can. I don't have to worry about it. It's just nice to have. Feels free, like
you've got freedom, haven't you?
That's exactly what it is. You feel like you're not getting told what to do anymore. You sort of feel like you've just moved out your mum's house or something.
It's a lot less stressful as well because obviously there's no, am I going to play this week? Bad way, you're there.
That's it. You earn your money. You go home.
Yeah, exactly. Just obviously, so it's good to see that you're obviously happy now. Obviously, but would you want your kids to go into rugby, or would you?
It's a tough one, that, isn't it? It's a tough one, that. If my young ones want to play sport as a whole, I'd say yeah. But there's that many. If you look at mental health, I know this is getting political.
Yeah, it's fine.
The percentage of men's mental health. And I don't know any percentages, this is me speculating from what I've noticed. But probably 90% of the men that I know that have struggled massively, really a lot, through mental health, have all been in sport. All my friends outside of sport, I'm not saying they don't struggle, but everybody struggles. But I'm saying that the peaks and troughs of the emotions and the depressions and stuff like that it's not as... It's escalated in sport because of the pressures you've got from fans and pressures you've got from clubs, and you're sort of expected to be this certain way, and you can't always be that certain way. If you snap and crack somebody in a pub, people, you might get a tell. If you don't report it to the police, then that's the end of it. But it's not just the police that we'd have to worry about if you're playing sport. It's everything, and then. If you do something stupid, people, or if you get angry, if you shout out your car at someone starts reporting you to the club, and then your work's affected with you. It's hard. So if they want to play, they can, but I think there's no substitute for graft. I think if you work hard, you can earn a lot of money, and you can build a good platform, whether that's in any industry, whether it's a media industry or a construction industry. And I think as long as I've got a backbone, because that's, again, mental health, it stems from a lot of people in rugby specifically rugby because that's what I can comment on, but it'll happen in all sports.
Yeah.
They have nothing to fall back on.
Yeah.
They sail through life earning big money, some of them 6 figures every year for maybe 15 years, I mean 6 figures.
Yeah.
And then one day it's just gone. And some people, if you haven't invested the money right, then they haven't got any money, and it ends up being a sub story, and it's hard because then you're looking at people thinking you should have your life in check.
Yeah.
But some people don't, and it's hard to do that if you're earning big money and you're going up with other people that are earning big money, but they're spending their money and you're not, and you feel like, oh well, I want to have fun with that. You sort of get drawn into a cycle, and it's tough. It is tough because if they want to play, they can. If they want to go into football, they can. If they want to go into IT, they can. But ideally, I'd like them to just do whatever makes them happy.
Yeah,
but
obviously.
If we can keep them safe, I say I got slagged off a lot by fans, and I'd hate that.
You wouldn't like seeing it, would you?
No, that's it. I was at a soft play once. I think my little lad threw a ball, and one of the other mums or something rolled her eyes at my lad, and I was like biting him.
Yeah.
I was like real angry. Come on. Yeah. And I was thinking, if somebody said some of the things that they said to me,
you wouldn't like.
You go down for murder. And you don't want to ever put anybody who you love in that position, especially kids. So,
I mean, obviously,
it's a tough one, that.
Obviously, with Rugby League, you've got to sort of have your life in thing after Rugby League, because the money you're on, it wasn't, obviously football earn a lot more money and you probably could get away with retiring on it, but with rugby you've got to have something else to do afterwards, because obviously it's like it's very tough. You've got to
put your money in the right places, haven't you? And then it's invested and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely. It's not, you don't earn the millions there in rugby, so it's not unheard of. But again, a lot of people do things right. I know Danny Houghton and Jimmy Shaw I know them two in particular have put the money in a lot of places, and they put themselves in good stead for when they do retire financially. But again, there's other people that don't, and it really affects them. And to be honest, even just leaving the sport affects you, because I know at the time you hate stopping and getting photos, you hate getting asked what to do, what you're doing, or hi Jack, how you doing? You hate that, but then when it stops, you do miss that as well. So, but I'd just like to say as well, I know I might have spoke badly about the teams. I've got nothing against any teams.
Right.
No grudges at all. And at the end of the day, I'm speaking from a point of view where I'm a bricklayer now. I'm not involved in that industry, so I can speak the truth about that industry without it, in my eyes, and my truth about that industry, without having any backlash from it. Again, all I've done is speak the truth, but there was literally the best years of my life. I loved it. I loved being at all. I love being at Lee. I love being at every team I was at. I was at 7 different teams, so I love being at all them teams. I really enjoyed it. I ain't got no bad blood, but when you do something every single day for your full life, especially when you are the best player in the team, I was never the best one there. You work so hard and you sacrifice so much that when it don't work out, it can feel bitter. I think that might have been what happened with me. So I've got nothing wrong with them personally, but I have fallen out of love with the game a little bit, where I watch it because my mates are playing. Come 10 years time when my mates don't play anymore and it's a new set of lads, I probably won't watch rugby at all anymore. I'll probably just sit and watch Newcastle United on Sky every week because we'll be winning Champions Leagues and that by then. So I've got nothing against them, and there's a lot of good people. I've got friends for life that I've met in the clubs, in all clubs. So I've got nothing against them. I've just maybe put it across in a bad way. It's been very negative rather than positive. But I do. They've made my life. I say I managed to buy my house while I was at rugby, so obviously I was getting paid well enough to buy a house, and I've been on some nice holidays, and I've got some great memories playing for Hull, especially Hull anyway. Obviously debuts, it's your dream sort of come true, and I've managed to represent England in under 18s and under 16s, so that was something special as well. So I've got a lot of good memories out of it, but I think I got to the stage where I wasn't happy doing everything that I was doing, and I thought I could have been happier. The grass isn't always greener, but in this case it feels like it might be, just because I can earn a good lifestyle, put food on the table and pay my bills for my family, rather than being away from my family to do that, whether that means travelling or playing part-time. Now I'm home every night and I get to actually help out and be a dad rather than hiding away or travelling away to games, or when I was at Lee I'd have to stay over a few times. So it feels, I think I'm in that good of a space at the minute that I think badly of that one, but I don't think badly of it, if you know what I'm saying.
You kind of got good memories and bad memories, but obviously...
definitely. I think all in all, I love what I did, and I would never change it. I wouldn't think, I wish I just became a bricklayer from the start. I never think that. I just think that I'm lucky enough to have had that and not had to worry about that spike or that massive trough where I don't know what I'm going to do, and I fall into a good job, and it's something that I enjoy doing. So again, I won't be anywhere without that, because a lot of the people that I work with and worked for that have got me through all my qualifications, and they're actually building onto sites, and I've met through rugby. I've maybe met through being Hull FC fans or other fans, or even just people that I've just met at games or out on the streets, and I've met some best mates, and then obviously some great contacts that have really pulled me through at the end as well. They've always helped me out.
Obviously, you said you was a Newcastle United fan. How did it feel scoring at St James's Park? I just realised obviously scored there. What was that like?
It was class, that, to be honest. It was really good. I was buzzing because obviously I went there and I'm like a little fan, and we was in the shit changing room as well. They didn't even I don't know who it was, because obviously every team's there, so we got a changing room. I say shit changing room. It wasn't. It was as good as KC's. It was just a changing room. But then I'm walking out, I'm looking at all the lights, and I'm thinking, wow, it's massive this. And obviously I managed to get the try. And again in a derby, so it was another great feeling. And the best thing about that was it was Yemo returned. So Yemo's my centre, so I got to play with Yemo again, which, actually I never got to play with him. If I ever played, I was either on the opposite side completely, which might have only been 1 or 2 games, or I played instead of. So he was one bloke that obviously I looked up to growing up, and I thought I want to be just like him. And then I actually got to play with him that game alongside him, and so it did. That was a great memory. When I was at Lee last year, though, I didn't play because that's the game that I dislocated my shoulder, and that was Magic Weekend. And as I went there, Lee had the home changing room, and that was mega. If you look at my phone, it's just full of photos, just selfies around it, and it was mega. That was really good.
I mean, obviously, being a fan of... I'm not even a fan of Newcastle United, but going every year, it's probably the best stadium I've been to. I think it's unreal. It's really
I know, especially when it's full. If you get that, if you get on that third game on the Saturday, I think that's the best one. Personally, I think everybody... That means all the fans from the game before, from the 2 games before, most of them have stayed. Then all your fans have come. It's a Saturday night, so no one's got work in the morning. You get that stadium packed out. You start hearing Old Faithful or the other fan songs echoing around. It's mega. That it's really good.
Obviously, we're last game on a Sunday this year, so it's not
shock.
Really, It's because we bring the most, and it's obviously the one I get the.
Seeing some we can get the one of the last games, and we get, and Hull and Rovers get the other last game, don't they? So. You can't really, especially if you get in the derbies as well. You've got to.
We play Warrington this year, so.
I went to Magic Weekend last year, and this is again where maybe I fall out of love with the game a little bit. This is what I was saying. It was Rugby League Cares offered me some tickets to go to the game. Obviously, as a freshly retired player, with a few of the other lads that are freshly out of the game. And I went on the Saturday. I only went on the Saturday because I had work on the Monday, so I think Hull was the last game on.
Last game on the Sunday.
So it was going to be. It was a tough one to then obviously watch that. I wanted to go out for some food. I've got family in Newcastle. So I wanted to see the family as well. I thought it's just going to be so late by the time I get back.
I didn't get back till 10, so to be fair, it was like it's a long journey, innit?
Then we've got my little lad who would have had to get looked after on the Sunday, and then that would have been by my mum or the missus' mum, and they'll have had work the next year.
Yeah, it's not fair on them, is it?
Yeah,
so
it was tough. So that's the only reason I went on the Saturday. But again, that was in the hospitality suite. So
nice.
Yeah, I'll be going every year if I get the opportunity there now.
Yeah,
definitely.
Obviously, did you play in the Magic Weekend at Etihad?
No, I didn't get that one. I can't remember what was that. Was that a Rovers game, was it?
Yeah, we played Rovers. It was 2014 because I thought you might have played, but obviously not.
That was the...
It was the kit.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Mickey designed it. Was it Mickey or Fecker?
I think it was... I can't think.
It was the Maori print, wasn't it?
Sid Domick, I think, maybe? I don't...
Oh, was it? Yeah,
it was a player.
Aboriginal print.
I can't...
It was all tribal sort of stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was one of them.
Yeah,
I don't remember it. Yeah, I didn't play. I remember Fecker scoring in that game.
Yeah, ran over,
Right, I think, what did he do?
Kevin
Leroy had hold of his tails with his shirt, and while he was dragging him, they ran over Ben Kincaid or something. Yeah, it was special, that try.
It's funny because All City played in the FA Cup final the same day, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that was it, wasn't it?
People were flicking through channels to watch.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, it was in. The city was empty, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was literally no one was there. I mean, I didn't go to Magic because I think I was too young with this, but yeah, it was mad just to see like.
I don't think I didn't go to the game. I think I watched it on Sky, but yeah, you're right. I think they played at Wembley, didn't they?
We'll see. Yeah.
So I remember I went for a drive and he was like, "Where is everyone?"
It's
dead everywhere you go.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I think. So I'm gonna ask just more like questions, trivial, I think, sort of thing. Who would you say was like the most influential on you as like a player that you played with?
Oh, Yemo, definitely. I think. There was a lot though. There was Minicello, true professional. That he'd give you tips all day long. Gareth Ellis would, Danny Houghton, Scott Taylor, everybody, all them kind of players. They're great players, and they'd always give you help without asking. They'd see you maybe struggling, or they'd see you trying to do a certain thing. And they'll come over and say, "Hey, I've listened to this," and that was good. I remember when I first took Yemo's spot. So it was when I got picked over him the first ever time, and he came up to me, and I was nervous because I heard these stories, and I've definitely heard some other players kick off when somebody got played over them.
Yeah,
and I was thinking, "Oh no!" And he literally put his arm around me, and he just went, "I want you to retire me now." He said, "I don't want to play again this year." Yeah. And I was like, "What? So what?" He was like, "Yeah, I don't want to play again." And I was like, "You know." And then it was only a few weeks, and I ended up getting dropped and Newmo straight back in. It was maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah. And he came up to me again, and he just went, "Don't worry, mate." He said, "Don't worry." He said, "It is what it is." He said, "Don't worry, bit of form, get your confidence back, you'll be back in." He said, "And then I won't be playing anymore." He said, "I'm going to retire soon anyway, so I need you to get back in, so don't worry." And I was like, what a bloke. To say, like,
just to come out your way to say
literally, that. And I think he wasn't planning on retiring. He still had 2 years on his contract, and he's just gone, "I don't want to play again." Yeah. It meant a lot to me, that, especially as a young kid.
Yeah, it's like,
Richard Whiting was another one. He was great. He was really good, always helping out, always offering advice. Boring bloke, like. He talks some shit, but no, he's a great bloke though. I hope he sees it now, because he'll be spewing about that.
We'll tag him in a clip.
Yeah, he'll be spewing about that. But yeah, no, great bloke. And who else was he? Obviously, there was a few players that taught me a few things. Remember Matt King? Matt King, when we went to Australia, Matt King taught me something, and I thought, why hadn't I seen that before? It was just something real little about when you're challenging for them high kicks attacking. It was just like, get right by the ball, sort of like turn your back, so if you're trying to score that way, you turn your back and you try and catch the ball there, so you use your full body as a shield, sort of knock them out there. I just thought, what? Yeah, it's a great technique, that. And I managed to do it a few times in training. Really practiced it, but again, it was one that I didn't play enough till the opportunity came up every week. So I never got to execute it, but yeah, it's one of those little things that really stuck to my in the back of my memory. Yeah, definitely.
You obviously went on the Australia tour. I mean, just completely went over that. But what was that like? Like, obviously going to Australia. I mean, did you play against St George?
Yeah, I did St George. Yeah. Did I play fullback? No, I didn't. I played.
I think
centre.
I think Sean might play fullback.
I was meant to play full-back, because obviously that was only a friendly.
Yeah, it was,
so
it was as many subs as you wanted.
Yeah, I was getting rolled. I only got to play full-back once for Hull, and Rad's straight after the game. I mean, I didn't do too bad, but straight after the game, Rad's just went, yeah, you never play full-back again. I was like, you know what, understandable. I didn't do anything major where it messed us up, so I didn't do anything. I didn't do too bad, but
yeah.
I didn't really. I looked a bit like an headless chicken running around at the back. As much as I loved the freedom, I thought it was class. Yeah, I could completely understand where it came from. But that Australia trip was mega. It was just a different experience to go playing in another country, and especially in Australia, it's the kind of place that when you go out there, you hear so much about it, especially in rugby. And in day-to-day life, to be honest, you hear so much about it, about how good the economy is. It's just good to go see that and see how a bit of a I was only there 2 weeks, but because we went with work, we basically went out there, but we was living like we was living out there. It wasn't like a holiday, if you know what I mean. So it was one of them, it really opened your eyes, and you thought, I could do this. I could move if the opportunity came up, or there was if the questions were asked by the missus, I don't think I'd have any arguments to go out there. It was a lovely place.
Beautiful place, yeah. Favourite ground to play at?
Apart from Casey, obviously. I like Craven Park. Right. I do like Craven Park because it was hostile.
Yeah.
That's obviously. Same as Cass. At Cass, because the pitch is so small. It's the stadium's so small. They're on top of you. And as I say, it's still old school, and they've still got like metal fences that separate you from the pitch rather than railings and stuff.
Like the 90s, so it's literally the same.
Literally old school. I like that concrete floors in the changing rooms. It's freezing.
It's bad the changing rooms at Cass, isn't it? Yeah.
But I like that. It's good. I like the. You sort of feel a bit more when you play it like Casey, and that it's a football stadium,
it's a football stadium.
You've got a bit of distance between you and the fans, and it's not as hostile. It don't matter how loud. I've heard the Casey loud, but it don't matter how loud they get. It's never as loud as it never feels as loud as like Cass or KR or. I'd say Wakey a little bit, but obviously only that once. The standing side get a bit loud. But them sort of stadiums I prefer. So I'll probably say the Jungle, Jungle. Coliseum, whatever it's called.
Mendenhall's Jungle.
Is that what it is? Mendenhall's Jungle. Probably there.
Yeah, I'd probably say the same because it's best atmosphere wise. Yeah, obviously. Warrington I like, but.
Yeah, did I play at Warrington? I played at Warrington once. I played at Warrington once. I never really. I didn't play 1,000 games from, did I?
No.
So I never really got to it. I think I experienced every ground though. I don't think there was one that I didn't play at. So.
Yeah. You played at the DW, didn't you? I think you made your debut there, but in 2015 it was quite a young side. You played there. You gave him a game. You gave him a really good game.
That was Massey's debut. That Massimo Matanga's debut. But me and Massey grew up together, so we went to primary school. Right, I think we met was maybe 6 or 7 or something, and obviously all the way through primary school, secondary school. He only got pulled into the academy, so he didn't do any scholarships, and then went right up to the first team. So it was good to play in that. But I think we had Fecker played, Stilts played, and Sneedy, and I think everybody else was below 22. So I think it was Dean Hadley was the next oldest. It was maybe 22, maybe 23 at the time. We was all 17, 18, 19, 20 at most. There was the average age worked out like 22 or something, and as you say, you had Fecker and Stilts who were 30 odd in there still, and Sneedy was mid 20s. I think we just caught them by surprise with enthusiasm. I think a bit of the underdogs, and I think they actually got off to a better start. I think they ended up going up.
They went in a bit of a lead and then
it was like 16-0 or something.
It was something weird like that.
I scored 2. I can't remember them. Did I score 2?
I think so. I think
Min put a kick through. I remember that one. That was good.
I vaguely remember you scoring, but I wasn't there. I've seen the highlights.
I hit a lead, and I bounced off one of their players, and I scored. And then I remember it was the best commentary I ever had. We sort of half made a break from kick off. I think it might have been from that, and I'm stood out on the wing. Because I can't remember who was winger, but he got injured. I might have been winger because Jansen ended up playing centre. So we didn't even have a proper team out. We had Jano as a back row loose forward playing centre. And at the time, I was obviously centre winger, but only ever played centre. I'd never played winger in Super League really until then.
Yeah.
And then I'm screaming for Mint to put this kick in. He puts the kick in. It looks like it's going out, and the commentator's going, "Oh, it's gone too far. It's gone too far." And he goes, "No, it hasn't. That man knew it. No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't." And then obviously, that was probably. I'd say that was probably my favourite try because it was sort of my first. I say special moment where you just don't give up on something that everybody else has give up on.
Yeah.
So that was I like that one.
I think wrap things up. Thanks for watching. Yeah,
it is. Thank you.